To see you.
All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad Khatam al Nabiyyin. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight for another letter writing night. Tonight, inshallah, our discussion will be around Bobby Ilyas Gerhold, our brother who's held at Maryland State Prison for the past few years, despite him being cleared from his charges. So we have a number of special guests with us today. Tamiko Tamiko, maybe you want to introduce yourself. I'll let you go ahead and take care of that, inshallah, and then we'll move over to Jennifer.
Okay, yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. Peace and blessings. I'm so glad to be a part, always glad to be a part and excited for our letter writing nights because these are very important when we are asking for the release of our people that are in prison behind the wall. And so my name is Tamiko Shine. I'm a cultural anthropologist. I'm also the founding director of Aging People in Prison Human Rights Campaign. I started a few years ago where we work to get people out of prison who've been in 30, 40, 50, even 64 years. The letter writing nights are a very important tool. It may seem simple, but we write directly to those who are able to be decision makers in the release of those incarcerated. So the night on behalf of Bobby Gerhold is very important. Is one of many, many men who have been incarcerated within a system that we call United States of America, where they have over 1,000 prisons across the United States. It is right now within the world considered incarceration nation. And so what we do when APP is able to partner with groups like ILIA and with our youth, we're able to work towards a new narrative and looking at something that gives people more humanity. And so this is a very important night. I'm just so glad to be a part, and I'm here at your service. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tom. Great introduction, and we appreciate you being with us here. And obviously, this is not the first time, so we definitely learned a lot from you and your organization. Next, we'll move over to Jennifer Hood. Jennifer is the sister of Bobby. So, Jennifer, if you'd like to introduce yourself and share a little background.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Jennifer. I am the sister of Bobby Ilyas Gerhold. So a little bit of background in case you guys don't know about the case. So my brother had been incarcerated before for armed robbery, and this was back in 2007. He was released early back in 2013. And then what happened was he ended up getting stopped by a police officer. And the police officer ran his background, found out that he was on probation. And there had been a home break-in that was nearby. And they just kind of put two and two together and assumed that he was, involved because of his background. But they went through the whole series of, trying him for this home invasion. He got found not guilty. The man who owned the home never could identify him. He said that he wasn't even that person. And my brother's probation officer even said when all of this happened that she was not going to, she wasn't going to charge him for this instance because he hadn't done anything. But he went back in front of Judge Bernhardt. Judge Bernhardt decided that because he didn't show up to his first violation of probation hearing, that he was basically involved in it, and thus he sent him back to prison to serve the rest of his time, which was 18 years out of the 23 that he had received initially for the first lockup in 2007. So that's where we are now. He went up for parole last year. He did not make it. This time around, we have gotten a lawyer, and he's supposed to be one of the best around for parole. While my brother has been at Jessup, he's gotten COVID, and we think he's probably gotten it at least 3 times while he's been in there. And he has, he's gotten the vaccine and everything, But at this point, he has a lot of health issues, exasperated by the COVID. He's got sciatica. He's always had a lot of body issues as he's been sitting in prison. So what we're really hoping this time is that in November, November 1st is his hearing, is that we are going to get a yes for immediate release for his parole. So that's, in a sense, the background of it. Right now, we're getting a lot of the letters together. So his character letters, things like that, to the lawyer who needs those by the 20th, but I'm trying to get them by the 19th so I can send them to him on the 20th. And then I am going to meet with the parole commissioner on August 31st at 9:30 in the morning with the lawyer to hopefully plead my brother's case, and then we'll see what happens in November.
All right, great. Thank you for that overview. And I did capture some of your key points, shared them on the chat here. We also put a link for the change.org campaign that Sarah had started back in the midwinter around January. And you can check it out for more information, more details. And also this other link here has a video that provides a little bit of background as well, and some more information on the bottom of the page, and other pieces of information that we went through in the last 6 months or so. So I do see there's a number of people on the call here. I wanted to also thank Jenna for helping us put this program together and posting it on the website. We also have here with us Bernhardt, our president, and there's a couple of youth. I see Amin. So I'll turn over to you guys if you have any questions to Jennifer on how to write the letter, or Tamiko. Obviously, she's an expert in this. She's been helping dozens and dozens of people over the years to get justice throughout the country, especially aging people. This is where she specializes. So we have an expert with us here tonight who can help us craft some really good letters and focus on some of the points that Jennifer mentioned. Ilyas's character, his background, his responsibilities towards his family. He does have children. He has a teenage boy. I believe he's 17 now. Is that correct, Jennifer?
So he has, the boy is about to turn 20 on Friday, and then he's got two girls. One is 25 and the other is 17.
Okay, so they're all in that, young adult age where they definitely need their father for, life guidance. I personally met Ilyas in the Howard County Detention Center years ago. Very decent brother, very humble, and he was one of the very committed individuals in the detention center, helping others learn about their faith and, giving good advice to others. So definitely we look forward to having him back in the community where he can contribute positively, to the betterment of our community, rather than, being locked up for no reason, especially that we've seen in his records, his information, that he's been cleared from all the charges that they had back in 2016. I mean, when you think about it, that's 5 years ago. You have an innocent person sitting in a state prison for 5 years, contracting COVID, maybe at least three times or so. It's a very difficult situation. I received a lot of letters from Ilyas over the years, and many of them, he would explain the situation in a state prison, how it looks like, and how people literally go to bed not knowing if they are gonna wake up safe and sound, just because of the violence and, seeing others getting harmed and in some cases killed in front of their eyes. So with that, I'll stop here, see if anyone has any questions, and then we can go back to Tamiko to give us some specific advice, inshallah.
So I think one question that I have is if you guys have any advice or anything specific that you think we should mention in the letters, maybe like a specific ask to the judges or the state officers or anything like that.
Jennifer?
So
You have, yeah. Mhm.
what the lawyer told me is that there are three main things that he wants to see in the letters. And, he said you can write about whatever it is that you want, but the main three things are how you know him, how he's changed, and how will help him to um, how to help him when he's released. So I realize that it's kind of hard to say that given that you guys really don't know him type deal. But my brother it has been a very different situation this time around versus the last time. The last time, his children were still young, and they were still very impressionable. And now they're grown. And at this point, he also has a grandchild that he really didn't want to, be in prison to be there for his life, but that has been the first year of his grandchild's life. So he really does want to come back out to make a difference, at least for his grandkids, the start of them anyway. He couldn't really make one for his kids because of the fact that he was gone for so long. But I've seen my brother grow in terms of faith. I mean, when I was younger, he was kind of all over the place when it came to faith. He switched from Christian to Buddhist to Catholic. It just kind of went all over the place because he was looking for answers on how to, find a set path for his life. And I would say that now, and not all of our family is Muslim, mostly he is and his immediate family. But I would say that that has changed him dramatically in how he reacts to certain situations. He's not so quick to, judge anymore. He kind of takes things for face value. He also tries to see it from the other side, like trying to put his feet into other people's shoes. He understands that what he did before was wrong, right? So the armed robbery, he completely understands. He pled guilty to that. He was absolutely for serving his time for what he did. Now, this time around, he feels that he served his time and that he's ready to serve his community in this part of his life. And I think it's going to be different this time around, especially if he's able to work with Ilya. That's a different level of commitment that my brother has never had before, where he's got to be committed not only to his family, but to the community that he serves. So, in a sense, his risk management system is going to be very different. So, he knows that, and he knows what he needs to do in order to, if he starts feeling like he needs help, he has his family. He has you guys from Ilya. He has people now and resources that he can go to if he needs help with anything. And like I said, he's always been intelligent. That hasn't changed. He sees the world as it is right now. There's a lot of stuff going on between COVID and then social movements, social rights movements. He wants to be involved in a lot of that stuff, and especially involved with people who are still in the system. Tomiko, I think he would probably enjoy working with you at some point because he's been very for this as somebody who's been a victim of it. So, he used to have a really big victim complex. I will admit that there, like, everything happened to him and not necessarily that it would be something that he was involved in. But now he knows that it is something that you can change. You don't have to be a victim all the time. Him and I have grown up differently. We're a generation apart, but we both had issues with domestic violence in our homes. So we both are there for each other now versus when, I was younger. I was a baby when he was 18. So there was no connection there. Him and I have a much better should have been we did before. So he's so glad here, and I understand. He knows he has family that he can help and get help from. He knows he has Ilya that he can get help from. And I think that honestly, Ilya has been the biggest change for him, along with his faith. That's the one thing that I can say out of all of his issues before with the justice system. This has never been a resource he's had before. So I would say that, having a faith-based organization to give him opportunities and to kind of show him the right path is probably something that he should have had a long time ago, but it just wasn't there. But now that it is, I think that's going to be drastic, and it fits to his character now, where he wants to do good for the community, and he has more of a path set for himself in wanting to be there for his family, be there for the community, and just kind of, start over. He's 50 now, so he really does see this as like his last chance. There really is not another one, in a sense.
And Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember he also received his master's degree or some higher degree from a Goucher College in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He was
Yep.
incarcerated.
So he did his bachelor's at Goucher, which he was really good at that. I would want him to go back to school now, but there's just a lot of going on with COVID and everything. But yes, he did go back to school. He did get his bachelor's. And I think he did a lot of his work in psychology, which is very different for him. He did a lot of background work in like marble. So creating like marble countertops and things like that. That was his main thing. But I think he wants to go into more of the psychology point of view of trying to figure out how to help people from that point of view versus, I guess, lifting marble all the time. His body is just not made for that anymore.
Right. And the marble was a business that he started, I believe,
Yeah.
in the 2000s, that time.
Yeah.
Frame.
Yep. And he's always been really good at it. And it's still something he could do very easily. But he, like I said, his age is not compatible with that type of work anymore.
Sure. All right, great. So that's a great background. We have some talking points here in the chat. So we can give the audience here a pause to think of any questions, anything you need to know in order to write a letter. There's about 5 or 6 of us here. So I'm hoping by tonight we can have 6 letters that we can get to Jennifer, by the weekend. And that would definitely be a good, addition to what his attorney has, inshallah. So any questions from the attendees here?
So I'm in the younger generation. I've sent, a very small amount of letters in my lifetime. Maybe, is the idea that we send you the letter and you mail it, or, what works best?
So I think what the attorney told me is that email is just fine. If you want to write it out, you can, and then if you scan it to me, that would be great. But typing it up is just as good.
Right. Okay. And what email should we send it to?
I will put it in chat. Let me get that.
So it could be as informal as an email sent to Jennifer, or it could be, a letter with your name at the top and some fancy letterhead on a, Google Doc that you send as a PDF through email as well.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure, please do.
With the letters, I know, Jennifer, give me the 3 points again, the lawyer you mentioned.
How you know him, how he's changed, and what you'll do to help him once he's released.
Okay, so what folks can do that may not know Mr. Gerhold, and also letters from our youth are very, very important in the current context that we have going on now. And so what you can do is put in there your age. You should put, especially for our youth, who you are, your age, and how you came to do the prison advocacy work. And you may not know him, but you know his sister. So you may want to put in there a couple of sentences, how you know his sister, how hard she's worked, what it has taken out of her, the sacrifice and the commitment that she's given, you know, the love she has for her brother. All of you that are from Ilya, that letter should be on letterhead. And not only should you email it, but you also should put hard copies in the mail. You could put them all together in the mail, or you can do it separate, but it should all be on Ilya letterhead. And as you sign it, it should have your name and whatever position you hold within the Ilya organization. For the youth, you should have your age in there, you're in high school or college, because the probation and prison system is still a very bricks and mortar type of building. I mean, system. So they're used to getting things in the mail. They almost prefer that somewhat. They're gonna get the email, but it's been going on over 100 years almost, right? So they're used to getting in the mail, opening the mail, putting in the file. Okay, so I would suggest you also mail it. And I think that'll be helpful. What the lawyer may see and what they may see, it may be different reasons. And so what the youth indicate when they write this letter is the changes that are going on in society. So that's why the letters from our youth in Ilya are very important. So you should say why are you into the prison advocacy work, your age, and why you want to advocate for Mr. Gerhold, why it's important. Okay, and just kind of keep it simple and to the point.
Those are great tips.
Thank you.
And who would it be addressed to if it's being sent to the prison, the warden or a specific office?
Well, it gets into probation, parole, right, Jennifer? Parole, right?
Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's going directly to the parole commission, Maryland. They are located in Baltimore City. Your brother's in Maryland, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so they're located in Baltimore City. Mhm.
I think at one point I did send the address of the commissioner and
Okay.
everything, but I'll look through my email and try and send that out again so that everybody has that. Let me try and find it now, and then I can put it in the chat.
So the letter that Jenna writes and Brother Nassau should be different letters based on your generation, your age, and your position. So the letter that Brother Nassau writes, because he has founded the organization, and even Baha should list in there how you're going to assist him. And you should have like 3 to 5 bullet points of things that Ilya is going to do, because you're like the voice, you all can speak for Ilya as an organization. You got me? So
Yeah,
that
that
letter,
makes sense.
yes, that letter could be 1 to 2 pages. For everyone else, maybe a page would be fine. But you all are going into, you've known them, like your letter, you've known them, you give that background, and the amount of time is important, they know that you know him. And also the main thing is how you're going to support him and how you're going to help him once he's released. So your letter should be in 3, are your age, what got you in prison advocacy work, how do you know him? I know him, you may or you may know his sister, and this is how you're going to support him.
Mhm. Okay, those are great points. So keep it personalized as much as possible.
Yeah, that's very important because they get letters all the time, and sometimes they're script, and I tell folks don't. So people may generate a letter, and it's like everybody just sign it's the same letter, but they
Right.
actually read them, you
Right.
know. And so the ones that I know is when the youth send, those are more powerful because those are our next generation of leaders, and they kind of direct you the way the world is going and the future is going. Remember, America is in a shift, a narrative shift, so they want to know how the youth see the world and what's to come. And so the prison system itself is in an era of coming to an end. This is old world, the prison system, people getting locked up, is very antiquated. And so when your youth are writing letters like that and sending to parole, that's something very new. And these are folks that have different nationality and they have different ethnicity. And so it's very powerful to them. And they look at that and they look at it in different ways.
Right. Okay. That's great. So you guys have a big responsibility there on your shoulders.
Good. I wanted to make you feel like it's a big responsibility.
Well, it's also a good, impact, inshallah. All right. Any other questions from the youth? Okay. Jennifer, anything else you wanted to share or anything that came to mind while we were speaking?
Sorry, I'm putting the address of the Maryland Parole and Probation Commission into the chat.
That's perfect.
I'm trying to think if there is anything else. It has been a long time coming. I will say that this is probably one of our last real efforts to push for this. The way our situation is right now, I could do that this year, but I know next year it's going to be difficult if he doesn't get parole. And there's a lot going on with his kids. His kids are going through a lot right now. So it's just a lot. So we're gonna try our best to get it this time. And then, we'll see what happens if they say no, but we're really hoping for a yes, considering the fact that while he's been in there, and I know that I'm pretty sure that parole doesn't necessarily look at this all the time. And Tomiko, you may tell me if I'm wrong or not, but he's had like no tickets in there. He's never had, behavioral issues as an inmate. So he literally has nothing on his, his dossier, basically saying that he's a risk in there.
Jennifer, you're right. Before I forget my my thought, I meant to say earlier, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they do look at all of that. And they're gonna have his file and everything. Another point I wanted to bring out is that the main point is that he is been declared innocent. He was not there. That should go in every single letter from anyone, any organization. And you might even want to reference a few examples, because I know with the aging people in prison news I send out weekly, now I have a section full of exonerations. Every week somebody's being exonerated, every week, and it's going to increase. So you might want to reference just by name a couple of cases that they were innocent also, because this is the main fact of his case. When are you having a meeting there, Jennifer, with the lawyer?
The 31st of August.
Okay, it'd be good. Okay, it'd be good if someone from ILIA was a part of that meeting with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Organization representation.
Yeah.
And,
I really before that.
And when you go to the meeting, Jennifer, there's a coordinator who you send the letters to. Find out who that person is. I forget her name, but she's the person you would you're gonna send the letters to by email. Okay, find out who that is. But definitely should be somebody for ILIA, 1 or 2 people that should be there with you. Because
Okay.
that is the community, that's advocacy, and that's power nowadays.
Mhm.
I just want to say, Ilya is happy to accompany you on that. Also, make sure you remember this in everyone's prayers and so on. I mean, doing this is a really good, thing to do to help somebody who's in this situation. But I had a question of like, what is the deadline for this? So that maybe we could, see if we can get community support for people who maybe didn't make it today, but could still support.
Yeah. The deadline for the letters that the lawyer gave me was August 20th. I've been telling people August 19th so I can have everything ready to go by the 20th to send to him. I'm not sure about any stragglers if it comes after the 20th, what that means. I can ask him though and see what happens. But the 19th is really the hard deadline that we would like to have it by.
And Brother
Okay.
Nassar, you should be the one to go with them on the 31st.
Inshallah. Yeah, no, definitely like Matt said, we'll give whatever support we can, inshallah.
Because you know him and you can speak to him over the last few years.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Is there a hearing date that has been set, Jennifer?
Yeah. So November 1st, I have to check my calendar again. But that is his actual hearing date, and that's a Monday, November 1st.
Okay.
So your deadline to get all letters in from anyone, Jennifer, should be October 31st or November. When is the hearing? It's November 19th, right?
November 1st.
November
But
1st?
yeah, but his lawyer told us to get them by August 19th. And I think that is because he's going to make the case on the 31st for an immediate release. So
Okay.
I believe that he's going for immediate release, delayed release. And there's one more that I'm missing, but it is a release.
Okay. If he doesn't get that, that happens, then the letters can continue to come in until
Okay.
October 1st, a month
Okay.
before the hearing.
First.
Because usually the DOC, BOP, you're gonna get a lot of no's. That's why people in so long. So
Yeah.
just in case, yeah, and people may say, I heard about this, or I got this email, can I still send a letter? Just let them know up until October 1st, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And that would go to the coordinator, right?
Yeah, that will go directly to them by that time. Mhm.
Okay, all right, cool.
Question for Tamiko. What are your thoughts about writing to the judge as well?
It's no, definitely. Anybody that's involved in the management or decision of him being incarcerated, it's not a problem. So like for us, for app, we're gonna write our letters, send letters. We won't send it to the lawyer, right? Because we're organization, they're used to us, we send it directly to them. And so you have different entities that are working on Mr. Gerhold's behalf, right? And so sometimes a lot of times we contact the judge. And we send to, because remember, they're people too. A lot of changes are taking place within the system of the Department of Justice, within America. A lot of things are trying to be cleaned up. Past ills are trying to be resolved. Innocent justice is afoot, it's a talk. So you just never know what the judge may do. We had 2 people come up this week, a matter of fact, and a couple of them just all last year I've been sending them to judges, and that's how we made to get people released somewhat. But yeah, we say, as Brother Malcolm says, by all any means necessary, all people, all people that are necessary. We want that person's name to ring in their ear. We want them to be dreaming about that person.
Okay, great. And we can find the contact for the judge on the county's website or the state website. So yeah, that's easy to find. And Jennifer, once you get the contact for the commissioner, just if you can drop it in the chat, or you can email it to us and we'll share it.
I will do both, just in case.
Very good. All right. Anything else? Anyone comes to mind? Anyone has a question or a thought or an idea?
Oh yeah, I did want to say a few words. This is my first time hearing about this brother's case, but it certainly obviously seems like a travesty of justice. But I did want to ask, what is the sentence that he got or he received?
Yeah, so he basically the sentence was violation of his probation, and because of that, he had an original sentence of 23 years from the first issue for why he was on probation. He then got early release, and then once that violation of probation came in, the judge gave him the rest of his time, which was 18 years, because he had served 5 of it already. And then a lot of it had also been taken off for time served, in between the hearings and things like that. So he's got 18 years. And I think his maximum release date, from what he told me, I think is 2030. Yes. So it would be another 10 years.
Right. Yeah, 10 years from last year. That's correct.
Yeah.
All right. Other questions? All right. Well, before we end, we'll make a dua, a prayer. The Prophet ﷺ used to always make dua, make supplication for those who are in difficult situations. We ask Allah Almighty to release those who are incarcerated unjustly, and to release the burdens over those who are burdened, and give all of us and our loved ones peace and tranquility and a peace of mind. So I want to again thank Tamiko for spending her expertise and time with us.
I laugh every time you say that, Brother Ness. They say you're only an expert when the problem's solved. We got like 2 million people. But I understand why you're saying that.
No, absolutely. You've done a lot of great things. I do get your newsletters and I follow what you guys are doing, and it's just inspirational. So may you have success in what you're doing. And
I also want to say free HRAP bounty man Jamil Alameen and Afia Siddiqui. Put their energy out there.
Thank you. Yeah, there is a national mobilization going on for Jamil Amin in about 5 cities coming up this month. So keep an eye on the Afia Foundation and others. There's over 20-30 organizations supporting that. And there's also another national mobilization for Afia Siddiqui as well that will be announced very soon. So a lot of injustices around us, and may Allah reward everyone for taking some time and effort to help mitigate some of this. Like you're saying, Tomiko, I mean, just so much injustice. It's like an ocean, and we're just dropping a needle in it.
Oh, no. We're ocean of truth. The ocean of truth, the ocean of justice is always much larger, includes the heavens and the earth. So we are consuming it, believe me.
That's true. I love that. All right, well, we'll close with that. Again, this doesn't mean, we're done. You can reach out to myself, Jennifer, for any other questions. If you need more specifics, I mean, Ilya has a lot of good information and documents that we've compiled over the years. So we can give you more specifics if you want to write about a very specific point, inshallah. But I think the 11 points that were mentioned here are kind of sufficient. And I see Jennifer did put the address and the contact for the Maryland Parole Commission. So if you wanted to copy that as well before we end the meeting, inshallah. Is there a specific name or person that we should address it to?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's David Bloomberg. Yeah. Let me put that in the chat real quick.
Yep, that'd be great.
David Bloomberg, and he is the chair, I believe.
And make sure in all the letters you mention Bobby Gerhold's name, but also his sister, Jennifer. So they know she is the contact family member and everything. Because any decision made, they'll contact that relative that's really heading up the case.
Right. And I think it helps to put the ID of the person.
Oh yeah, his inmate number. Yeah.
You have that.
I will send that. I don't have that on me at the time, but I will email that out with everything else too.
Okay.
His inmate number and his prison where he's located at. Put both those.
Okay.
It's I think it's MCIJ, Maryland Correctional Institute of Jessup. So it's MCI-J. But yeah, the inmate number would be very helpful as well.
Yeah, I will send out that information as soon as I get off of here and I go find it in my paperwork. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined tonight. I know it was last minute, but I really, really appreciate this on behalf of my brother, on behalf of my family. It's been a long, hard road, but we really appreciate it. And I just hope everyone has a really good night and stay safe and stay well.
Stay strong, Jennifer. We got you.
Thank
we
you.
Gotta go get him. We'll go get him.
Yeah,
We're all humble to be part of this. All right, y'all. Well, have a great night, and thank you everyone for joining. Assalamu
Peace and
alaikum.
blessings, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you. Bye.